This video is brought to you by my generous backers over on Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the Discord, seeing the videos a week before anyone else, or exclusive Patreon-only gameplays, plus a myriad of other perks, then check out my Patreon. The link's in the description below. Damia, Sage of Stone versus the Mimeoplasm, two Simic commanders in this game. We are going to keep that because we've got some good mana here in Sol Ring and Sakura Tribe Elder. And then into a Wood Elves as well, so we might actually go for that instead. Let's start off with the coloured mana. Or the colourless mana, I should say, so that our opponent might not be as worried about a turn 1 Sol Ring. Okay, and we get into another land as well, so let's make double green out of this. And then we can go in for Wood Elves, get ourselves into a blue mana. And then we can go Sakura Tribe Elder as well. Our opponent got down a Simic Signet. We'll just get down a blue in Tropical Island. And then go in for that Sakura Tribe Elder. And I think we'll grab ourselves a Swamp. Just so that we've got double black if we need it. Now it is a Tech Edge from our opponent. They can use that because we've got 3 or more lands. Luckily, no matter which land they blow up, we're still on our Sultai colours. They decide to go after the Flooded Grove to try and take us off of double blue. And then in for a Satyr Wayfinder. This can only take the lands that you reveal, can't it? You may put a land from amongst them into your hand, so they can't get the Tech Edge back. But they didn't get into a land anyway. They didn't get into a creature either, so that's pretty unlucky. No creatures in there. We get into another land, so what do we want to do? We've got 4, 5 and 6. Nothing we can do apart from hold up Supreme Will. So let's get down double black. And we will pass the turn like that. Okay, and then down comes a Phyrexian Metamorph. I think in order to try and keep our opponent off of mana, that can come down as a copy of the Sol Ring. They're going after our mana, so let's try and go after theirs as well. Then they're going for a bounce land. Yeah, their mana's been much slower than ours this game. And now we've got Cyclonic Rift as well. I think our plan is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we'll just try and have Damia stick. Because we'll draw a nice chunk of cards if she does. And now we can offer up the trade to our opponent. I was worried about this thing getting equipped or something, but doesn't seem as though that's going to be the case with the Mimeoplasm. Down comes the Mimeoplasm, and they can get a copy of our Damia here if they want by going after the Phyrexian Metamorph. Comes in with plus counters on it equal to, is it the power? Yeah, the power of Sakura Tribe Elder, which is only 1, so they've got a bigger Damia. Doesn't matter because she has Death Touch. I think it might be worth a Cyclonic Rift this turn. So that we don't have to worry about our opponent drawing cards with Damia. What do we want? We can go for Runescarred Demon and then a Mystical Tutor. And we've got more blue mana there. Now I think it's an overloaded Cyclonic Rift. And then we'll just play out the island so that we can Mystical Tutor if we want to. So let's swing in with everything. If they drop a land, they can still go for the Mimeoplasm onto the Damia. But then we can Mystical Tutor some spot removal, so I'm feeling pretty good about our situation so far. Alright, deciding to just ramp a little bit more, so they're holding off on their commander. then going in for Jared's Orders. Might have to go for an Owl Spellbomb with the Rune-Scarred Demon, because they could set up some kind of combo with that. Search for 2 creature cards, one into your hand and the other into the graveyard. Okay, they have gone for Body Double into the hand. And then there's a Phyrexian Ingester in the graveyard. Yeah, so I think we're definitely wanting to go for some kind of graveyard exile. Let's drop the Mystical Tutor and see if there's anything we want to draw with that. Alright, and our opponent scoops to that. They don't like the idea of us tutoring for an answer. I think we would have just gone for a bribery there, just for the fun of it. And then we obviously would have drawn into the bribery. And then we would have had 3, 6, 9 mana. So that's 7 into there, and then Rune-Scar. And then Rune-Scar Demon gets us into, where is it? The Nile Spellbomb, I'm sure, is in here. Yeah, there it is. So we go for that. We can play it and tap and exile something with card draw. So perhaps we would have drawn into a Grave Titan. So maybe would have drawn into that, and that would have seen us through for the rest of the game. Oh, not to mention the fact that we would have actually drawn up to 7 there, wouldn't we? But it's not going to show us what else we would have drawn. I think that was a fairly comfortable match because we got into the fast mana and we had plenty of ramp in that game from Sakura Tribe Elder and Wood Elves. So, as per usual, in a game of Commander, it's he who ramps fastest tends to win the game. Well, that was a pretty fast one, so I'm going to try another game, and just so happens we've gotten into a good hand again. A lot of this deck is ramp because our Commander's so expensive, and we don't mind emptying our hand if we can just redraw a fresh grip with our Commander. So it is quite likely that we'll draw into a lot of ramp in our opening hand in this deck. Oh, and I didn't go over the Commander either, did I? That is Olivia Voldaren. Let's just go in with a Shockland so that we can have the Woodland Cemetery come into play untapped next turn. That cares about swamps and forests. And we have drawn into Jingataxius. Yeah, we're nowhere near casting that. Okay, Talisman of Indulgence means that we may be seeing Olivia next turn. There's that Sakura Tribe Elder again. Instead of that, we'll just go in for Solemn Simulacrum. And we will play it safe and get into another green source. Our opponent might get rid of our Woodland Cemetery if they're given the chance. And I don't mind seeing an Olivia too soon because we've got the Song of the Dryads as well. But they decide instead to go for Urza's Incubator. Perhaps they don't have a land. Only got 3 cards left in hand, so I fancy our odds here. Alright, so because our opponent is on a little bit of a go slow, we lose the flip to the Mana Crypt, and we get into another blue source. That's good. Let's go in for Yavimaya Elder, and then we can sacrifice the Yavimaya Elder and grab ourselves some more basics, as well as a card draw. I'll go for another green so that we can play... Oh, we can't play Sakura Tribe Elder this turn, can we? We don't have the mana. I must have miscounted that. Okay, so we'll just go for one of each anyhow. My plan was to go for Yavimaya Elder, crack it, and play Sakura Tribe Elder this turn, but obviously I've miscounted there. Let's go for the Underground Sea. That leaves us with a full grip, and we'll hit our opponent with Solemn as well. Drew into Consecrated Sphinx from the Yavimaya Elder, and we've got lands to make for the next few turns now, as well as a bunch of stuff to do, so we don't have to rush out our Damia. They get into their land, and they don't have a red land yet, which is noteworthy, so if we get rid of this, that might really hurt them. Playing an Insolent Neonate, discard a card and sacrifice it to draw, and it's a 1/1 with Menace. We lose again to the Mana Crypt, so I think we take advantage of our opponent's slow mana. We'll just get down the Gilded Lotus here. Then we'll go for Sakura Tribe Elder as well. And I'll leave that back as a blocker because we will be able to double block on this thing. Menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, yes, we can double block and then sack the Sakura Tribe Elder. And I'm not going to go for Song of the Dryads onto the Mana Rock because I don't want our opponent to scoop on us. But they get into a mountain anyway. And going for Painful Quandary. That is a pain. But if we draw enough cards with Consecrated Sphinx or Jin-Gitaxias, then it's not going to be as big an issue. And then our opponent just passing the turn, deciding not to swing in because we can block. So we'll go for an island here. We do want a lot of blue mana in this deck. Losing for the 3rd time in a row with Mana Crypt. Okay, so we can flash down Jin-Gitaxias if we want to. And that will hold up nothing. Or we could just go for Consecrated Sphinx. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to get down the Jin-Gitaxias, to be honest. And then with Painful Quandary, we will discard the Urborg. No, we'll just discard the Swamp. We've got black mana from the Gilded Lotus if our opponent plays a Blood Moon. And we can play Song of the Dryads onto the Blood Moon anyway. Our opponent draws. We draw 2 with the Sphinx. Get into even more lands. And now it is Go for the Throat. There is nothing we can do about that, so it gets a Go for the Throat out of our opponent's hand, but would have liked to have kept the Consecrated Sphinx. And our opponent can play their commander because, yeah, they've obviously named Vampire with that. Song of the Dryads onto a Rakdos deck is probably going to be a tough thing for them to deal with. Now swinging in with that because we can't block this time. See if we go for 4 in a row. We get 4 in a row from the Mana Crypt. There is a Farseek. Well, we're definitely going Song of the Dryads here. That goes on Olivia. Then we'll discard. How much mana do we have? That's 4, 8, 9, 10 for Jin-Gitaxias. Let's get rid of the breeding pool. Yeah, we'll play the Urborg. I think we've got Cabal Coffers in this deck, so just in case we draw into that. And now it's a case of flashing down Jin-Gitaxias at the end of our opponent's turn and hoping that they don't have an answer for it. We could actually flash it down in response to this and try and kill that off. An Icon of Ancestry, that's some card draw for our opponent. Look at the top 3 cards and reveal a creature card of the chosen type. And that's also +1/+1 on that thing. Let's see if the last card in their hand is removal. If the last card in their hand is removal, then they can do it at the end step anyway, so we might as well get rid of a creature here and discard the Farseek. Worst case scenario, we just have to play Damia and refill our hand that way. And if they decide to kill off Solemn, we actually draw a card from that here as well. They do decide to kill the Solemn, so we draw a card. And get into Leyline of Anticipation, playing at flash speed with all this mana and a bunch of cards in hand is probably going to be the end of our opponent. Got 1 card in hand that they will have to discard. Their hand size is reduced by 0 thanks to Jin-Gitaxias. Reduced by 7 to 0, I should say. And it is a Vampire Hexmage they were keeping hold of. I lose 4, I think that's the 5th time in a row. So let's get down the Leyline of Anticipation. We'll discard the Forest. And then I actually wasted a mana there, so hopefully that doesn't come up. We'll just swing in at our opponent with the Jin-Gitaxias. Try and get them out of the game before our own Mana Crypt does. And then we draw 7. Our opponent's going to draw as well, or try to. I think yeah, it's reveal a creature. You don't reveal the cards. They whiff on that. And we have to discard down to hand size here. Let's just get rid of a Shockland. They get into Unclaimed Territory. Then going for the Icon of Ancestry again. And this time they managed to get into Bloodthirsty Aerialist. When you gain life, put a plus counter on it. It's a 2/3 flyer. Not a terrible card. Let's draw with Force C before we allow that. And we'll discard the Sunken Hollow. Okay, scrying all of that to the bottom sounds good. Maybe should keep the Lightning Greaves to protect our Jingataxius. Yeah, we'll put that on top. Drawing to Ancient Tomb, so just clearing a bunch of lands off the top. Yeah, we'll just have to allow that thing in. I'm actually worried about that because it's got flying. It's a 3/4 and it could get even bigger. Let's maximise the use of our mana and we'll go for a Cultivate. Get some more lands out of the deck. And discard Ancient Tomb. Luckily, this Painful Quandary hasn't been too much of an issue for us because we've been drawing so many cards. We'll go for a couple of blue. Then losing yet again to the Mana Crypt. I don't think we've won a flip this game. So Maze of Ith, I think we're going to have to play. And maybe just go for a huge Villainous Wealth. We'll play down the Lightning Greaves and discard an island. And then we can't block with the Jingataxius anyway. So let's just swing in there. And then it's past the turn and hope that we can draw a bunch of great cards. Because we haven't done as well as I would like. Okay, that's some really good stuff. We'll get rid of some more lands. Really want to conserve our life as best we can. Don't think we care about Nal's Spellbomb. So we'll get rid of that as well. And it looks like another vampire's coming out off the top from our opponent. Oh, it's a good one as well. Drana. Yeah, definitely want to counter that. So we'll go counter spell. Our counter magic has come just in the nick of time. Should have gone for a Cross and Grip first, actually. Let's discard the Massacre Worm. Yeah, I think we need to get rid of this Painful Quandary so that we can actually keep hold of some cards that we like. Alright, deciding to tap mana and then not use it. I thought they were going to go for this thing then, but apparently not. Let's maze on that, because we've only got a few turns left if this Mana Crypt continues its trend. We could use Disallow on our own Mana Crypt if we don't fancy our odds there. Okay, and then we go for Rex Sage, and we'll have to discard a land, I think. We want rid of that Painful Quandary. And then we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could just go in for our Damia to have another body, and it will draw us cards at the beginning of our turn, as opposed to the end, like Jingataxius does. So let's go like that. And then we'll continue to test our luck with the Mana Crypt. We'll draw 5 cards first. Lose the flip again. So we're down to 8 life. Reliquary Tower is going to come in handy because we're going to have a lot of cards in hand. I think Villainous Wealth and try to get into some lifelink might be a good idea. Let's just go for Brainstorm first. See if there's anything else that we like. Okay, Chromatic Lantern fixes our mana. Lotus Cobra is pretty good as well. So let's just dump a couple of lands on top. We're going to draw into them at the end of the turn anyway. Yeah, I'll hold off on the Chromatic Lantern. We can play it at instant speed anyway. Let's go in with Damia and the Jingataxius. I think we can outrace our opponent here. And then I'm actually going to go for the Cross and Grip just so they don't get into a really good creature. We'll go for the Icon of Ancestry. It's less mana into the Villainous Wealth, but they can't respond to that, and I know that they were going to do that at the end of our turn. So now they truly are in top deck mode, and that's the end of it. We were going to draw 7 more cards with Jingataxius, which was pretty much, that's one of the combo pieces. Null Profusion and Omniscience means that you can, well, Omniscience would have been good on its own in this scenario, but if you've got an empty hand with an Omniscience and Null Profusion, then hopefully you don't get 2 lands in a row and you can just keep drawing into cards and playing them for free for, well, an indefinite period of time. So that's why that's in here. Force of Will we obviously could have used because we've got some blue cards in hand. So yeah, just a case of out-ramping and out-card drawing our opponent there. But Mana Crypt was not on our side that game. Pretty much all the life we lost was down to the Mana Crypt. So it's unlucky from our opponent, but lucky in a certain sense because we actually could have gone down to our own Mana Crypt. Had they have been able to get this and maybe some other vampires through, they might have had us. But getting rid of their commander was imperative there, I think. Hopefully you all enjoyed this revisit to Damia. Haven't played her in quite a while, so like I said, hopefully you all enjoyed it. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.